Another new location! You know, we need to discuss this subject head on. We need to talk about what it's like to travel the world, see new sights, hear new sounds, and know what it's truly like to live life to the fullest. Or, cancer. Yes, we're taking a look at another inspirational drama, this one about life-threatening diseases. Also, we have Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson. So let's live life like we have a death wish and watch The Bucket List.
Edward Perryman Cole died in May. It was a Sunday afternoon, and there wasn't a cloud in the sky.
If I were to tell you that Edward was a penguin, it would completely change the genre of this movie.
I know that when he died, his eyes were closed, and his heart was open.
Oh. No. Looks like someone took a page out of the Hack's Guide to Writing. In fact, I bet you can even hear them ripping it right out of the book.
His eyes were closed, and his heart was open.
So we actually begin with Morgan Freeman as a mechanic. Hey, Freeman's a mechanic. I bet he really knows how to use a crowbar. Yeah, that was a pretty bad joke. And just check out the subtlety on this. Morgan, don't drop that cig! That's a fire hazard! So, 3 minutes in, and one of our main characters has cancer. Cutting to the chase, aren't we, movie? We then cut to Jack Nicholson on average Monday morning. Only difference here is they've decided to film it.
Look, I passed up a lunch with Michelle Pfeiffer to be here. So can we desist from all of this inane posturing? You need me. I do not need you.
Did Jack have any lines? Because it looks like he's just telling off the film crew for ruining his day. And another 3 minutes, and now Jack has cancer. It's like the pacing's on a 100-yard dash or something. Hey, maybe at this rate, the movie be over in 30 minutes! So Morgan and Jack are in the same room. You know, it upsets me when a movie's plot is based on coincidences.
That was the first time I laid eyes on Edward Cole.
The first time I fell in love with him.
You can't have your own room. It would create an enormous PR problem.
Now this is a line from earlier that I neglected to show, about how Jack owns this hospital and has a strict policy for 2 to a room.
2 beds to a room, no exceptions.
Now this has got to be some irony, right?
No offense.
Also, I thought that private rooms were more expensive, but what do I know? So Morgan's wife comes to visit and...
She gone?
What?
Really, Jack? You were just eavesdropping?
I believe more people die from visitors than diseases.
You didn't tell me you were married?
This Swedish berry is also known as the cowberry.
What is a lingonberry?
What is a lingonberry?
This berry told Beethoven to roll over.
Who is Chuck Berry?
Again.
Oh, don't mind him. It's just a rerun.
Hey, love the smell of chemo in the morning.
This is a weird reboot of Apocalypse Now.
Bitch, ain't it? Never catch me drinking that shit.
Okay, can I just say that hearing Morgan Freeman spout out swear words is kind of funny in hindsight?
With half the city feeding you sonar, you can image all of Gotham.
Bitch, ain't it?
You hear that? That's winter.
Never catch me drinking that shit.
He is coming.
Bitch, ain't it? You don't mind my asking. What is that contraption you got over there?
It's a siphon. Makes coffee.
But you still gotta pay $20 a cup.
Always had those freckles.
As far as I know.
Nice.
Aw, he likes his freckles. How cute.
You sure you want to eat all that?
That's the plan.
Best in L.A.
This is what happens when you buy food from McDonald's. Let me just open this door a little bit to show that Morgan's life is better than mine. Anyway, it's montage time with hospital shenanigans and their growing relationship. Also, Morgan's writing a bucket list and... wait. Notepad! Why would you betray me?!
I got the test back. 6 months.
Hey, Doc,
Yes.
blocking my view.
Classic Jack. Pause! Take a look at this list. I'm gonna go ahead and dismiss how incredibly saccharine this list is and talk about how he apparently has no life. Firstly, apparently seeing his children being born doesn't count as something truly majestic. Secondly, what asshole has never helped a stranger his entire life? Thirdly, he has never gone to a party or had a friend if he has not laughed until he cried. Fourthly, okay, I can't complain. I mean, that doesn't happen every day to everyone. Fifthly, those are not the notes on the bucket list! So Morgan does the right thing and ditches that dead end, but Jack picks it up and starts adding more shallow choices to it.
Skydiving. We could do this. We should do this. Don't think about money. That's all I got is money.
But I don't know.
What don't you know? Never too late.
Are you convincing him to elope with you? Morgan's wife wants to find a second opinion on his condition, but...
Edward and I are going away. I don't expect you to understand.
Is homosexuality something you can't understand? I mean, you might not like it, but you at least know what it is.
I don't understand how you can just give up like this. How you can just quit fighting.
Virginia.
Morgan, please forgive your wife for caring about you.
My husband is not for sale.
He is not a prostitute. We then cut to them skydiving and being catty.
I hate your rotten guts! Surrender to the void!
Back down on the ground.
Is he insane?
I guess. We then cut to them getting tattoos and talking about cheating on Morgan's wife.
We ought to have a big orgy.
Because this was a necessary conversation. We then cut to them driving muscle cars, including the Shelby Mustang.
You sound like someone looking for an ass whooping. Got enough for you, Sonny Jim. Dangling.
So if you're keeping track, Morgan Freeman has said the words ass whooping and made a penis reference. It's like he's turning to Samuel L. Jackson. Wait a minute, go back! Did you put the film in reverse to lengthen the shot? What, you couldn't ask Jack to be frustrated for a few more seconds? That's an amateur's mistake, come on! We then see them flying on their luxury jet and...
Medicinal.
Now that's a Jack Nicholson I know.
It's really one of God's good ones.
So you think a being of some sort did all this?
You don't?
Oh no, are we getting into a religious argument? We already had the cancer issue, we do not need another one. Moving on. We then see them in Italy with an exquisite dinner, and now I have to point out the real problem with the movie. Boy, I sure wish I could afford skydiving, muscle cars, and luxury jets and dinners. This movie makes me feel so poor that compared to these guys, I have to lick the undersides of garbage bags for nutrition. You know what this movie is? It's the Oscar equivalent of one of those Adam Sandler movies where they go on an expensive vacation, but they get their money back on the pretense of making a film. Soulless garbage at its finest.
30 years I've been coming here. first time with a guy.
Okay, I might have been joking about the homosexual undertones, but it's starting to become more obvious. We then find out that Jack has an estranged daughter, but Morgan's cancer hits the contrivance button, and they go to Jack's mansion.
How much money do you have?
Well, the movie's budget is about $45 million, so around that much.
All right, it took some doing, but I rearranged everything. Cairo tomorrow, Tanzania for 2 days, then Johannesburg on Saturday. And as previously directed, no bullfight, no tiger hunt.
There is so much wrong with that one line that I would need a flow chart to fully explain it. Hell, I could teach a class on how terrible this line is, let alone the rest of the writing. Morgan's wife makes a call.
Mr. Cole,
Tomorrow.
give him back to me.
I'm convinced this plot was originally about two men falling in love and the hardships they had to endure. I mean, they seem pretty comfortable around each other. Jack walks in on Morgan when he's in the bathtub, and Morgan feels pretty different about his wife.
She was the same woman I fell in love with. She hadn't changed. But somehow everything was different. We'd lost something along the way.
Also, Jeopardy is constantly changing in the background, like how Morgan answered a $400 question, and that same question is back up on the screen. So they then travel around the African savannah and the pyramids. Jack then opens up about how his daughter was beaten by her husband. Okay, seriously, do we need yet another controversial issue? Look, there's nothing wrong with a movie tackling multiple touchy issues, but this doesn't work because this has nothing to do nor try to say anything about those subjects. No discussion, no examinations, just brought up and then dropped. And they're typically left with just one scene. It's like just going down a list of topical subjects to check off. Taj Mahal, Great Wall of China, Himalayan mountains. What am I doing with my life? But they can't climb the mountain due to a deadly storm. Please let Walter Mitty be up there. Please let Walter Mitty be up there. Also, they never specify which mountain they're climbing. What, is Mount Everest trademarked? So they decide to go to Hong Kong, where Morgan meets with this woman that wants to sleep with him. You know, there are some people that I would like to watch pick up chicks. Morgan Freeman's not one of them.
Well, that's... I mean...
She's a very lucky woman.
So Morgan's had enough and wants to go home, but he wants Jack to talk to his estranged daughter.
Just because I told you my story does not invite you to be a part of it.
Oh, just like how you entered Morgan's life and drove a divide between him and his wife and family. But when it's you, no, it's completely different! So Jack leaves Morgan. Now it's sad montage time, where they return to their homes, but ultimately they miss each other and wait a minute. This is the third act breakup in a romance movie! Yeah, like almost literally. Misunderstandings followed by them splitting up in a sad montage where they miss each other and want to be back together. So it's true! Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman were meant to be! I mean, Jack's so sad that he starts crying. Oh my god, that poor man.
Here's Johnny.
Never mind. Then Morgan gets busy in the bedroom. Bow, chicka, bow. Oh, my hip. Oh. But seriously, I do not need to see Morgan Freeman get his Mac on, so Cancer, hit the contrivance button.
Carter!
Phew. This is a good thing. Jack goes to visit him in the hospital and his wife is right there. Awkward. Then Morgan has Jack read about his favorite coffee. Yes, seriously.
In the Sumatran village where the beans are grown lives a breed of wild tree cat. These cats eat the beans, digest them, and then defecate.
So basically, Jack Nicholson has been drinking distilled cat poo. You know, There's a reason why C for clever is a part of the title of this show. To denounce such crap as this. And I just made an unintentional joke by including the word crap. I'm an idiot. Oh, come on, Morgan, you're laughing over a poop joke. Have some class. Anyway, Morgan gives Jack a note.
Dear Edward, I've gone back and forth the last few days trying to decide whether or not I should even write this.
But I can't contain it anymore. I love you.
Virginia said I left a stranger and came back a husband. I owe that to you.
No, you can't say that, movie. You can't say that when there's been absolutely no scenes at him at home acting more like a husband.
You know, I feel like a teenager. Like our first time.
It's the Walter Mitty problem again. Just because you had it over a montage doesn't explain everything. This movie's really banking on Morgan Freeman's rich voice to tell you of character actions that didn't really happen. Jack then goes to talk to his estranged daughter, to where he finds that he has a granddaughter.
Find the joy in your life, Edward.
Now I could take this out of context and make it sound really horrible, so I will. Help! Call the police! There's a pedophile on the list! Morgan passes away and Jack gives a speech at his funeral.
The simplest thing is, I loved him.
Oh, you heard it here, folks! Jack Nicholson loves Morgan Freeman! The love story to last the ages! But seriously, this really could have worked as a homosexual love story. Yeah. Jack dies later, and they're both cremated, put in coffee cans, and are put on top of the mountain.
Edward Perryman Cole died in May.
Wait, why is it the guy that died first talking about the guy that died last? Now that's a real paradox.
I know that when he died, his eyes were closed and his heart was open.
Oh my god, you really used that line again? Why would you remind people of the worst line in the movie? It's like it's mocking the audience for how cliched it is.
And I'm pretty sure he was happy with his final resting place, because he was buried on the mountain. And that was against the law.
It wouldn't be the first time Jack's broken the law. Rob Reiner? Come on, man, you're better than this! You made A Few Good Men! Princess Bride! Stand By Me! North. Okay, never mind. This movie isn't good, but it's not exactly bad or boring, it's just confused. It has a multitude of ideas that it wants to bring up, but it gets swallowed up in the montages and vacation spots. I just wish that this movie would sit down and figure out what it wants to do, which is ironic considering that the main characters spend most of their time sitting. As for the cancer itself, it's barely there for half of the movie and doesn't even have a name. It's just cancer. To quote Roger Ebert, who was diagnosed with thyroid and salivary gland cancer in 2002, "I've never had chemo, but I have had cancer. And believe me, during the convalescence after surgery, the last item on your bucket list is climbing a Himalaya. Your list is more likely to be topped by keeping down a full meal, having a triumphant bowel movement, keeping your energy up in the afternoon, letting your loved ones know you love them, and convincing the doc your reports of pain are real and not merely disguising your desire to become a drug addict." I mean, sure, the cancer does raise its ugly head, but more for the sake of plot convenience and poop jokes. As for the romantic undertones, I honestly wish it was a homosexual drama. At least that'd be more interesting and provocative than what we actually got, especially with two high-profile actors. In conclusion, a waste of potential that's ultimately a piece of fluff that should be forgotten.